Hey, what's up, everybody? So, this is a birthday tribute to the great John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin. John Paul Jones is 75 years old today, and it's only fitting that with all of the Led Zeppelin stuff that we've been doing lately, that we should squeeze something in for the great John Paul Jones. So, man, what I want to do is I just want to share with you what one of my subscribers sent to me, man. Shout out to Jared. Jared sent us a link for a no quarter performance, and I believe it was in 79. So this is what Jared had to say. He said, "Hi Wayne, John Paul Jones's birthday is coming up January 3rd. It's my birthday as well. I've heard you say that No Quarter is his signature song. I agree. Can you squeeze this in if you got time? That would be a great birthday present indeed, especially if it's from the Lazy Boy. Laugh out loud. If not, no worries. Thanks for all the content you've been cranking out. Gotta love the holidays. Peace." And then there's a attached note. He says, "Oh, by the way, check out some of the comments about Jones and Zeppelin in general. You've also said the Zeppelin fans are just as intriguing as the band. Some of these comments reflect your statement. Peace, Jared." Right on, Jared. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'll do that. Let's squeeze this in for John Paul Jones. And No Quarter definitely is his signature song, and it happens to be one of my favorite songs performed live. So that works. That's right up my street, man. So let's get this. No Quarter, and it's 8479. So August the 4th, 1979. I'm not sure what specific city or concert name this might be. If you guys know, let me know. It just tells me the date. 8479. Well, without further ado. Oh, and Jared, happy birthday to you too, brother. You didn't tell me how old you were. But maybe that's just for you to know. All right, man. No Quarter, Led Zeppelin. Let's get it. And the great Robert Plant.
This next piece features the man from Casablanca, John Paul Jones. Some say a man in his own right, others say Royal Orleans. This is No Quarter.
Royal Orleans, you get that? I got that. That joke.
You know they won't be home tonight.
Led Zeppelin's Silent Assassin. Don't you wish you could roast slap those people talking during this great piano solo? I would roast slap their asses. Their range and variety could not be matched. Add a little light thunder. This guy's the coolest shit ever, isn't he? I really like the close-up shots of Jonesy's expressions and his face. It's rare to get such good close-ups. Damn time.
Drives by the foot that's slow. The dogs are doing a howling moan. Carry steel, flying.
Excellent solo. That was excellent. Okay. Just a sudden drop. That was excellent, man. Tight, precise, every single one of them on point. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the way to treat a fantastic song like this, man. All the way through. No quarter, man. One of the best Led Zeppelin songs, easily. Both the studio cut and the live cut, but especially the live cut. Whatever they do in the live segment, however they insert things, infuse things, overlap things, whatever they do, it's all good to me. The live set of No Quarter is something to look forward to. Just like the live set of A Whole Lot of Love and Dazed and Confused, there's always a variety and a mix that goes into those particular songs. It's all good, man. And those three particular songs, live, I will always have time for because they're not exactly the same every single time. Love that shit. There are certain songs where you can do that, and those are the three songs in my mind where you can do anything with it, and I will definitely have a welcoming ear for it, man. Anyway, so hey, point break right here for the benefit of YouTube. We'll try and separate the reaction from the review if need be, and it might have a better chance of making it up. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, give me a few seconds and I'll be right back. Peace. All right, y'all. Let's take a look at the man and then a little bit of the song, and then we'll check out some of the fan statements that Jared wanted me to check out. Yo, man, fantastic song. And while going through this reaction, I'm noticing the clothes that they were wearing. So this was the Nebworth Festival, and I had already done a full Nebworth concert reaction. But I know that it's a 2-day event, And so this must have been probably the second day, because the no quarter segments in my mind's eye doesn't seem to be different. This seems to be a different no quarter. So I'm guessing that this was the second night, so yeah, still a first time reaction for this. I'm pretty sure I'll have to go back to my Nebworth and compare the two, but I think that this is the second night, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, and I know this, but I'm looking at some of the close-ups, especially of Jonesy's face, and some of the close-ups of Robert's face in the camera angles, and I'm hearing audio, especially from those talking people on the side, that I hadn't heard before. So I'm guessing that this is the second concert of the Nebworth Festival. Correct me if I'm wrong. All the same though, really excellent version of No Quarter, man. It begs the question, how does this version compare to the measuring stick, as I call it, the Song Remains the Same rendition? Let me ask you, what did you think of this version compared to the Song Remains the Same version, if indeed that is the best live version? I just use that as the measuring stick. It could, there could be some that's even better in your opinion out there, or of equal measure. Where does this song measure up in your opinion compared to the Song Remains the Same? That's the standard. Let me know about that. I like it, but you know what? I would have to do a back-to-back to really give you a definitive answer, but I really, really like this. The quality was excellent, and I really liked also the two solos, the piano and Jimmy Page after that. That was really great, man. Of course, Bonds was always a beast, So let's take a look at the man for a second, and then we'll check out the song. John Paul Jones. John Richard Baldwin, born the 3rd of January 46, better known by his stage name John Paul Jones, is an English musician and record producer who was the bassist and keyboardist for the rock band Led Zeppelin. Prior to forming the band with Jimmy Page in '68, he was a session musician and arranger. After the death of drummer John Bonham in 1980, Led Zeppelin disbanded, and Jones developed a solo career. He has collaborated with musicians across a variety of genres, including Josh Homme and Dave Grohl, with the supergroup Them Crooked Vultures. Led Zeppelin formation. Have a suck of coffee first. During his time as a session player, Jones often crossed paths with guitarist Jimmy Page, a fellow session veteran. In June of '66, Page joined the Yardbirds, and in '67, Jones contributed to that band's Little Games album. The following winter, during the sessions for Donovan's Hurdy-Gurdy Man, Jones expressed to Page a desire to be part of any project the guitarist might be planning. Later that year, the Yardbirds disbanded, leaving Page and bassist Chris Drea to complete previously booked Yardbirds dates in Scandinavia. Before a new band could be assembled, Drea left to take up photography. Jones, at the suggestion of his wife, asked Page about the vacant position, and the guitarist eagerly invited Jones to collaborate. I bet you Chris Drea of the Yardbirds, he regrets moving on, because he could have been in the position of John Paul Jones, you know what I mean? Page later explains, quote, "I was working at the session for Donovan's Hurdy-Gurdy Man, and John Paul Jones was looking after the musical arrangements. During a break, he asked me if I could use a bass player in the new group I was forming. He had a proper music training, and he had quite brilliant ideas. I jumped at the chance of getting him." Vocalist Robert Plant and drummer John Bonham joined the two to form a quartet. Initially dubbed the New Yardbirds for the Scandinavian dates, the band soon became known as Led Zeppelin. Contribution to the band. Jones was responsible for the classic bass lines of the group, notably those in Ramble On and The Lemon Song, and shifting time signatures such as those in Black Dog. As half of Led Zeppelin's rhythm section with drummer John Bonham, Jones shared an appreciation for funk and soul rhythmic grooves, which strengthened and enhanced their musical affinity. In an interview he gave to Global Bass magazine, Jones remarked on this common musical interest. Quote, "Yeah, we were both huge Motown and Stax fans and general soul music fans, James Brown fans. More specifically, Bootsy Collins. Which is one of the reasons why I've always said that Zeppelin was one of the few bands to swing. We actually had a groove in those days. People used to come to our shows and dance, which was great. To see all the women dancing, that was really brilliant. You didn't necessarily see that at a Black Sabbath show or whatever, so we were different in that way. We were a groovy band. We used all our black pop music influences as a key to the rock that went over the top." Unquote. Jones's diverse contributions to the group extended to the use of other instruments, including an unusual triple-neck acoustic instrument consisting of a 6 and a 12-string guitar and a mandolin. What do you call that? What did he call that? There's no name given here. Jones often used bass pedals to supplement the band's sound while he was playing keyboards and mandolin. Yeah, really great coordination there, man. While all members of Led Zeppelin had a reputation for offstage excess, a label that has been claimed as was exaggerated, Jones was widely seen as the most quiet and reserved member of the group. For his part, Jones has claimed that he had just as much fun on the road as his bandmates, but was more discreet about it, stating, quote, "I did more drugs than I care to remember. I just did it quietly," unquote. Benoit Gauthier, an employee of Atlantic Records in France, echoed this expression, stating that, quote, "The wisest guy in Led Zeppelin was John Paul Jones. Why? He never got caught in an embarrassing situation," unquote. In an interview, Jones explained that fame with Led Zeppelin was not something that he ever became preoccupied with. Quote, "Not really. I'd done it all before. I would like to think that I wasn't too stupid either. I tried to stay out of the drift of the rock star's path, mainly because I needed my sanity and freedom on the road. So generally, I used to check out of the hotel and then get out on the street. I'd go walking. I'm not as recognizable as Plant and Page. Plus, I used to change my appearance all the time, just to make sure I wasn't as recognizable. Generally, I'm pretty quickly into the shadows. I once read the Beatles did a whole tour of America and never left their hotel rooms. And I thought, I can't see the point of traveling around the world and not seeing anything," unquote. Wow. So, following exhausting tours and extended periods of time away from his family, by late '73, Jones was beginning to show signs of disillusionment. He considered quitting Led Zeppelin to spend more time with his family, but was talked into returning by the band's manager, Peter Grant, the fifth member of Led Zeppelin. He joked that he was interested in becoming the choir master of Winchester Cathedral, which was reported as fact in several sources. Jones later explained his reservations. Quote, "I didn't want to harm the group, but I didn't want my family to fall apart either. We toured a huge amount in those early days. We were all very tired and under pressure, and it just came to a head. When I first joined the band, I didn't think it would go on for that long, 2 or 3 years perhaps, and then I'd carry on with my career as a musician and doing movie music." Yeah, I wonder. Here's a question for you. Led Zeppelin. They're starting off. When do you think he had these thoughts of, okay, well, probably a couple of years? Did he have these thoughts probably after their first meeting? The band gets together and they meet, and they're maybe hitting up the Scandinavian tour, or maybe it was right after they changed their name to Led Zeppelin. Now they've got their first album out. So whereabouts do you think he had this train of thought? I was thinking perhaps maybe it's when they got their first album out. Or maybe it was in the beginning when he was saying to Jimmy, hey, yeah, I want to be a part of whatever you're planning, and Jimmy was saying, yeah, we're going to fulfill the Scandinavian dates and whatnot. Maybe it was around that time. Around what time do you think that he had this train of thought? And I bet you that maybe they all thought this way. Probably. They all probably thought this way. That probably quickly changed once they got into, I'm guessing, the second album. The momentum of the second album really kicked things in, didn't it? I bet you by the second album they realized that no, we're going to be in this a little bit longer. So that's my question, 2 parts. Where do you think Jones had this train of thought first? And when do you think they had this idea that, oh no, we're not going to be together for only 3 years, it's going to go on longer? Answer that for me. Some of you know this shit. Other works during the time with the band. Jones's involvement with Led Zeppelin did not put a halt to his session work. In '69, he returned to the studio to play bass guitar on the Family Dog's A Way of Life album. Jones was Madeleine Bell's first choice to produce and arrange her 1974 album, Comin' At Ya. He has also played bass on the opening track for the Roy Harper album HQ, which also featured guitarist David Gilmour. Other contributions include playing bass on the Wings' Rock Estra, Back to the Eggplant, Rock Extra, Back to the Egg, along with Zeppelin's drummer John Bonham. Okay. About No Quarter. No Quarter appears on the '73 album Houses of the Holy. It was written by John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and Robert Plant. The song became a centerpiece at all Led Zeppelin concerts thereafter until their final tour. It appears in both the film versions and both live album versions of The Song Remains the Same, released in '76 and expanded in 2007. It appeared once more in 1994 on Page and Plant's reunion album as the title track. It also appears on Led Zeppelin's 2012 live album Celebration Day, which documented their 2007 reunion performance at the O2 Arena in London. It was re-released on the deluxe edition of Houses of the Holy. The title is derived from the military practice of showing no mercy to a vanquished opponent, and from the brave act of not asking for mercy when vanquished. This theme is captured in several of the song's lyrics. Like Immigrant Song, 2 albums prior, it evokes imagery from the Vikings and Norse mythology, with lyrics such as, "The winds of Thor are blowing cold." Record producer Rick Rubin has remarked on the song's structure, quote, "It takes such confidence to be able to get really quiet and loose for such a long time. Led Zeppelin completely changed how we look at what popular music can be," unquote. Oh man, is that ever true? Yeah, like I was saying, how many bands can give you a classic piano concerto in the middle of a rock song? The only other band I can think of off the top of my head is maybe Queen. I'm sure there's more, of course, right? But very few would have that capacity. That's my point. During live performances, John Paul Jones frequently improvised on keyboards and performed parts of classical music. On the band's 9th North American tour in '73, performances of the song lasted twice the length of the studio version. On Led Zeppelin's concert tours from '75 onward, Jones would also play a short piano concerto on a Steinway B211 grand piano, frequently turning the 7-minute song into a performance exceeding 20 and sometimes even 30 to 35 minutes in a handful of cases. That was a long ass sentence. That was like 1, 2, 3. That was 6 sentences in one, man. That was my first period right there. Page and Bonham would always join him later in the song. He was particularly fond of playing Rachmaninoff pieces, but sometimes included Joaquin Rodrigo's Concerto de Aranjuez and Amazing Grace as part of an extended medley. Reception. In a contemporary review for Houses of the Holy, Gordon Fletcher of Rolling Stone gave No Quarter a negative review, calling the track, along with the Rain song, as nothing more than drawn-out vehicles for further displays of Jones's unknowledgeable use of mellotron and synthesizer." Unquote. We've been through this whole Rolling Stone thing back in the day when I was doing my reactions to their studio cuts. Let's just move on. For me to even indulge this shit, it would be like polishing a damn turd. Let's just move on. So let's check out some of these comments from the fans. So this is from the YouTube link then. So Jared says, yeah, this is what Jared says, to check out these comments from some of the fans. The fans are just as intriguing as the band itself. Okay, so Sync Hollywood says, There will never again be four guys get together and do what these guys did. Not even close. Led Zeppelin is the rock band that all others before or since are measured by. Jealous fools like Townsend and Richards can cry a river and it doesn't change a thing. Damn. No band explored the boundaries, pushed the boundaries, set the standard, and all the while kept it human. Perfection is not the pinnacle of live music. Cohesiveness, spontaneity, and daring bravery to explore on the spot in front of the world trumps perfection, all day, every day. Rock perfectionists are missing the point. Yo, that's from Sync Hollywood. Okay, and then ROA says about his statement, "This is very well said, with depth of mind and true understanding of life itself. Led Zeppelin crossed all the boundaries of rock, rhythm, and blues with finesse, yet were still able to drive their feelings of life, good, evil, happiness, and sadness, all merged together from song to song, yet holding the feelings always in flux with reality." Okay. There's a lot of comments here. I'm just bouncing around. And TJ says, only the Beatles had or have a hold on the record buying public like Zeppelin does. And it's amazing considering Zeppelin hardly did interviews and such. They were an invisible band for many years outside of a planned interview or two. Another amazing thing is, women who make up the majority of record buyers in the States were not big Zeppelin fans outside of Stairway, and yet they sold more albums than McDonald's did fries. All right. So this is Shay Miller said, yeah, Michael J. Thomas, you lost me when you called Townsend sick and Richards jealous fools. Townsend wrote deeply on topics Zeppelin didn't even touch. Was Pete Townsend a jealous fool? What do you think about that? Markhorm84 says, they did create super masterpieces. The Final Cut album is not one of them. Sucks, but David Gilmour has some of the best guitar solos ever made. Favorite album is Wish You Were Here. I think the most underrated is A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Okay, this is in reference to the statement about... what was that statement in reference to? Okay, this is a Pink Floyd statement. David Brickley said, Led Zeppelin are for those who love music entirely. There is no other band that mixed and experimented so wide spectrum of styles. Blues, psychedelic, hard, progressive, funky, folk, and I'm likely forgetting more. No Quarter is my favorite masterpiece. There is nothing comparable to this song. I don't even have to ask you why. Absolutely. Carl Nodland said, They must have liked playing this live because you can find live video from 73, 75, 76, and 79. I love this song and the band. They take me to another dimension of sorts. Okay. And every Zepp album says, I so love the close-up of John Paul Jones's face. We rarely get to see him and his emotions while playing. He truly loves it. Yeah, right on. Yeah, I made that observation too about the close-ups. And every Zepp album says again, finally get to see Page and Jones together playing off each other. Bloody fantastic version. These are and always will be the best band ever. Okay, man. Yeah, that was really cool. Those two back-to-back solos, first piano and then guitar. Love that, man. This was an excellent no quarter. You know, despite people talking, you know, I don't know if you guys have cans on, but with my cans on, I can hear everything, man. I can hear the people talking on the side, what they're talking about, you know. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. But all the same, overall, the performance and the sound quality was really good. All right, so that concludes my reaction and my review of No Quarter. Happy birthday, John Paul Jones. Bless you, sir. You have given us so much in the way of musical enjoyment and just modeling a sense of grace about you. You know, you've got a very confined, stoic kind of quiet presence, but your presence is always notable. That's what I like about you, man. All right. So, let me just scroll down here before I bounce. Yeah, man. So with my Led Zeppelin journey, I've been asked a few times. So what are you going to do on the 3rd, and what are you going to do on the 9th? The 9th being Jimmy Page's birthday. And what I'll do, if No Quarter is John Paul Jones's signature song, I consider Dazed and Confused live to be Jimmy's song. And so for Jimmy's birthday, I'm going to do that Dazed and Confused challenge. So it's going to be a Dazed and Confused challenge, of course, featuring the Jimmy Page great guitar solos in that song. So that's what I've got planned for Jimmy's birthday on the 9th. And what we're going to do here is a couple of weeks back, I did John Paul Jones Bassworks feature. So I'll reattach that to this particular reaction, fingers crossed, if it goes on to YouTube. And, you know, I'll also do the same thing on the Patreon platform. I can't do that on Vimeo, so you guys will have to kind of scroll down and find it if you're on Vimeo. But I'll try my best to see if I can attach the John Paul Jones Bassworks feature. That was a really cool reaction to John Paul Jones, and a little bit of read overlapping with what I already read, but you'll get the idea. You'll appreciate it. Yeah, man. So I'll do that day's challenge with Jimmy on the 9th. I got a whole lot of love spin-off I want to do. More live stuff featuring John sent me, I believe it's Osaka, Japan in 71. I got to get to that. Fillmore West. I only did a little portion of that. That was As Long As I Have You. So a lot of people are saying, yeah, come on, man, do the whole thing. So I'll do the whole thing coming up soon. More live stuff and getting into their solo stuff in the new year, and a couple of interviews that I want to check out. One of those interviews I'll actually feature with Jimmy's birthday on the 9th. I believe Evelyn sent me some interview stuff. So that's what I'm going to feature where it comes to Jimmy's birthday on the 9th, man. And that is pretty much my outlook for my Led Zeppelin journey in the next little while. So still a lot of ground to cover, still deep in the rabbit hole, and still no light at the end of the tunnel, but it's all good, man. So that's it, man. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good one. Take care. Happy birthday, John Paul Jones. And the next time you see me will probably be for Jimmy's birthday. Take care. Peace.